Good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up for Tuesday, the 19th of August, 2025. Well, I'm going to use two words we haven't seen in a while, sideways to lower. Whoa, what do I mean by that? I mean, that's what the markets are doing. It appears that the stock market's changed its posture a bit now, and now going into the end of the week when we're going to see Fed Chair Powell at Jackson Hole and give a keynote speech, the market's suddenly selling off, something we haven't seen in a while. You're down a number of these markets. You can see nothing super hard, but when you go to the individual, NVDA was down $6. You were down $30 in Netflix. Amazon was down $3. Uranium even breaking back. We haven't seen this low in a little bit. Down another $2 here. Tesla, I don't know if I mentioned that, down $5.85, which will weigh on ARK. Back under the $3 mark in AMC. So my point is the markets have given up value with the exception of Uber, which took off today to the upside, which was nice, but it's against an upper Bollinger Band, could be problematic. Most of the metals were lower as well. When we take a look, well, maybe we shouldn't go to Syria right away. Maybe we should first take a look at news, and we'll do that. The Mortgage Bankers Association will update their market indices at 6 in the morning. At 1, we get the notes of the last FOMC meeting. Traders will pour through that, but we pretty well know who's doing what with the speeches that happen afterwards. I don't think there's much to be gathered from that. API numbers tonight came out. A draw on the crude stocks, but you're putting it back into gasoline and distillates, so I'm not that friendly on what I saw there. So let's come back to this market if we could right now. So Siri is suddenly going sideways. And as you take a look at the market, you have higher lows and certainly a higher high. If the market takes out 2275, you could get a rollover that carries you back to the 18-day average of closes of 2219. The resistance, I think, is pretty clear here. It's the 200-day average coupled with a Bollinger Band, but you really haven't gotten back to the Bollinger Band since July, and here we are getting into the latter part of August already. I really think it's the 200-day average that you look at there. When we take a look at momentum, overbought. So I'm seeing a market that's got upward momentum in terms of the swing line, but if you take out 2275, I'd be cautious. In Netflix, I've said to my subscribers and to you, I'm expecting profit taking up here and a pullback. You're getting just what we talked about, back to the 18-day average. And no, I'm really not expecting it to go back to the 1156 to 100-day average. It could, but I'm not seeing anything there other than profit taking right now. Dash went into a sell mode today. Lower highs, lower lows. What would negate it is getting over Monday's high and closing over the 254.10 level. We'll see if that happens. Otherwise, I think the bears took control. But the problem is, look at how oversold you are already. I'm not seeing anything there. United Healthcare, I'm getting people writing me all over the place. They'd like me to cover it. Okay. The market bottomed out a bit here, but then it went on a vertical move, which is what it's had all the way through. If you were to ask me when the play came alive, it came alive when you lost the bearish embedded reading. And if you come with me right here, you'll see it. That's why I love momentum. I think momentum leads price so often. Here you are. You got your embedded reading. You lose it right here. Watch, coming up. You're over the 21 level. So at least the 18-day average should be in play as I see it in the market. And let's see if I can get it. There we go. And you went right there and you kept going. You never know what's going to happen when you get a shocker like that and the market loses so much. Could it continue here up to the 100-day? It could, but it's overbought. It's certainly, in my judgment, maybe it's more interesting on a good break, but not up here. That's what I'd be telling people. EXC, market fighting a battle at the 18-day average in the 100. It tries, can't follow through, getting a bit oversold, giving you a bounce. When we look at Robinhood, when the cryptos get hit, Robinhood gets hurt. And that's what you've got here. So today you were down 6.5%. It's not an earnings thing that I saw. It's cryptos, and they have been coming down rather hard. Bitcoin's gone from 125,000 a coin down to 112, roughly 113. So that's a pretty good break. Tesla's been breaking back here. As you can see, is it going to get back to the 18-day average at 324? That's probably what traders are waiting to see and how it does there. Joby, I'm still looking for more of a break in the market. Remember, it came out of a base here. So the question is how far? Do I think it's going far beyond the Bollinger Band in an oversold market? No. In order for me to say, it's changed and it is going lower, you have to embed. You're nowhere near it at this point. When we come over to XLF, higher lows, higher highs, but really hanging at the 18-day average in front of all this news that we're waiting on. Look at how sideways you've been going here. I keep telling you that on the industrials, the 18-day average has been a resistance point, and I'm not saying be bearish there. I'm just saying it's a resistance point, and you can't seem to get over it, and that's what's happened. On XLE, if you take out Monday's lows, I'd be looking for lower prices normally, but given how oversold the market is, I don't think it's worth touching. In GLD, I've been looking for a pullback in the gold, if you remember my report. I don't think this market's ready to go back to the upside till September, but we're already August 19th. And I want it to work off lower. I want to get closer to the CPI, PPI next reports because I think inflation is showing up. We'll see if I'm right or wrong. I'm reading stories how coffee producers are trying to get around a 50% tariff in Brazil, things they're doing. Other products, you saw today, the Trump administration made a move, and anything out of aluminum, steel that are fabricated items, they went after ramps, parts of different types all over, 400 parts. And they keep clamping down. That puts a damper on the economy. And silver's part of that. It looks at all that. The copper market pulling back. You're finally getting a correction after a vertical move to the upside. And this was all part and parcel of the 50% tariff, then taking it off, and the money that you can make on some of those mining stocks. The miners did better than the copper by far. When you look at BND, you have a higher high, lower low. Or do you? Not really anymore. Now you got lower highs, lower low. You had a big outside day down yesterday. So until that's taken out, the goal is to keep coming back to the 18-day average or lower, and that's what the market's been doing. On the dollar index, my resistance point that was in my work was the 100-day average in the 18. You're just coming up to challenge those. FXE seems to want to pull back to the 18-day average of closes. So you put it together, you try to come up with a game plan, and very frankly, it's probably a good time to be twiddling your thumbs a little bit right here because you can take shots in the market, but I don't think it's going anywhere until we get past the Jackson Hole meeting. We have special reports on all these markets. Just move your cursor to the top, free offers, give it a click. I'm Ira Epstein. See you in the other videos tonight or in the morning flash update. You take care.